Hello, I'm so glad you could all be here today. I appreciate the time you took to listen to my presentation about nerve fibers that affect all of us. A body system is a collection of parts able to work together: growth, reproduction, and survival. Now, we need to understand the nervous system today. Let's inevitable. Must know the basics first. So, we will introduce you to structure. We have 8 systems in our body, including locomotion system, nervous system, endocrine system, circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, urinary system, and reproductive system. My focus will be on nerve fibers in the nervous system. Our topic is the characteristic of nerve fibers, and alpha fiber, beta fiber, delta fiber, and C fiber will be today's focal point. Here is our abstract. Speaking of the nerve fiber, we need to comprehend what neuron system is and how it functions. Furthermore, we need to understand the internal structure, elasticity, analyze and compare each fiber. Here are the outlines of our presentation. Number 1. Overview. An introduction to neurology. Number 2. Anatomy. The structure of nerve fiber. Number 3. Comparison of statistic. Alpha fiber, beta fiber, delta fiber, and C fiber. Number 4. Summary. To sum up all of the above. Next page. I will introduce neurology and let you understand the basics of the nerve fiber. First, to know what the nerve fiber is. Second, to realize where nerve fibers are located. Last, to understand the function of the nerve fiber. The first question is, what's a nerve fiber? Nerve fiber, also known as an axon, is a long, slender projection of a nerve cell or neuron vertebrate. In other words, invertebrates don't have nerve fiber. They only have neurons and ganglion. The nerve fiber can transmit the neuron signal away from the nerve cell body, known as action potential. The second question is, where are nerve fibers located? I think that the word is very suitable for this. What's the word? The answer is anywhere. You must be thinking, why is the word? Because nerve fibers are in the neurons. They can be anywhere in your body. In other words, nerve fibers are anywhere in your body. The next question is, what's the function of nerve fiber? As stated above, different parts of the body receive information from nerve fibers to give the communication between two cells. The way of working is just like a key and a lock. Next, let my partner tell you more about the nerve fibers.
Okay, now let me introduce the structure of nerve fiber to you. Also, I will compare the difference between sensory neurons and the motor neurons. Here, we can see several parts of nervous system. They all contain the same key structural components: the cell body, dendrites, the axon, and the axon terminals. Next page, I will show you the function each structure controls. Because of the limited time we had, I will just cite a few important structures. The nucleus is the center of cell life. It also controls and regulates the activity of the cell, for example, growth and metabolism. The nucleus also carries the genes and structure that contain hereditary information. This is the most important structure in a cell. Dendrites can receive and process incoming information. Analysis axon and axon terminal can also process incoming information. Maybe you may ask, what are they different from? Now, let me tell you an answer. Dendrites are receivers. They can receive information from other cells and process. Myelinations and axons can only deliver information in a cell. Next, axon terminals are exporters. They can deliver information to other cells. Besides, myelinations can increase the rate of transmission signals. By the way, axon terminals deliver information not only by electrochemical signals but also by neuron transmitters chemicals. Now, we are talking about the compare of the sensory neurons and the motor neurons. First, sensory neurons carry sensory impulses from sensory organs to the central nervous system. Motor neurons carry motor impulses from the central nervous system to the specific effectors. Second, sensory neurons are located in the dorsal root ganglion of the spinal nerve. Motor nerves are located in the ventral root ganglion of the spinal cord. In other words, they are all located in the spinal, just trivial distinctions. Third, sensory neurons have short action, and motor neuron has long actions. So, motor neurons are longer than sensory neurons. Fourth, an adult has more sensory neurons than motor neurons. An adult has 10 million sensory neurons. By comparison, a man has only half a million motor neurons. Fifth, also a final, sensory neurons connected with the expression, such as eyes, skin, ears, tongue, and nose. Motor neurons connected with the effectors, for example, muscle and glands. Let's talk more about the nerve system. Do you know why people have sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch? That's because we have receivers. By using receivers, we can get information of the environment while we stay in. Nervous system carry the information to our brain. Now, let's think about what will happen if your nerve cell die. That's easy. Your brain will lose something. For example, you can't see or you can't hear. So, if your nerve cells die, you will be disabled all of your lifetime. This is before. Now, the technique may help people who have a physical challenge find their sense back. The principle is very easy. All it needs to do is let the brain gather information again. You can do this by using current to stimulate the brain. Needless to say, this is all the story. It still needs experimentation. However, maybe you will hear the news someday in the future. Who knows? Next, we will talk about 4 types of nerve fiber and the difference between fibers. Nerve fibers are classified into 4 types. There are alpha fiber, beta fiber, delta fiber, and C fibers. They have different appearance and feature. I want to tell you this, but this is the end of my part. So please let my partner tell you more about these fibers.
Thanks for the explanation. Next, I will explain on 4 types of fibers. Please pay attention to my story tirelessly and vividly. As stated above, fibers are divided into alpha fiber, beta fiber, delta fiber, and C fiber. But although it is classified as fiber, there is a huge difference among each other. The picture next to me can gain a deeper understanding of what I say. You can notice that the picture shows 4 distinct fibers from cutaneous tissue to the spinal cord. Only C fiber doesn't have valence shift, and which diameter is different depending on its type. But why? Why not unify all the information through the cutaneous nerve? Peripheral nerve fibers are grouped based on the diameter, signal conduction velocity, and the myelination state of the axons. And each function is different. Furthermore, the work efficiency becomes higher. Generally speaking, alpha fibers are the primary receptor of the muscle spindle. Beta fiber act as secondary receptors of the muscle spindle and contribute to the cutaneous mechanoreceptors. Delta fibers are free nerve endings that conduct painful stimuli related to pressure and temperature.
And C fibers are considered polymodal because they can often respond to a combination of thermal, mechanical, and chemical stimuli. For example, they can respond to hypoxia, hypoglycemia, hyperosmolarity, and even light or sensitive touch. Moreover, delta and C fibers both contribute to the detection of diverse painful stimuli. Because of their higher conduction velocity, delta fibers are responsible for the sensation of sharp and initial pain and respond to a weaker intensity of the stimulus. Everyone does its own job. On the contrary, upon damaging, the work even operates worse than before, and the research reveals recovery of fiber function takes months and may still only regain incomplete function. In other words, each of them is indispensable. Being familiar with fiber function, you may be conscious and thoughtful that according to the picture previously, conduction speed difference is influenced by diameter. As the number of diameter rises, the conduction velocity speeds up. In addition, the melanin shift is also key to determine the rate of transmission, such as C fiber. Since it don't have a melanin shift, exactly, its backspeed of course slowly. In comparison with delta fibers, C fibers respond to stimuli consequently, which have stronger intensities and are the ones to account for the slow, lasting, and spread out syncope. Social cognition, language, empathy, and the theory of mind are required in our world. Nevertheless, who is the minister of controlling? And what activity does it work in charge of mastery? Mirror neurons were observed in humans, primate species, and birds. Fighters both an animal as well as observe the same action performed by another. Last but not least, learning new skills by means of imitation or understanding the action may be affected by neuron. Back to the experiment, the mirror neurons are discovered occasionally by the experimental team who are working on the aggressive response of monkeys. They observe that group neurons fires when a monkey performs an action, and also discharge when they observe the same action being performed by others. That is involved in lots of aspects, especially action understanding. It is presumed that when a stimulated motor action doesn't match the observed one, a new hypothesis is generated and tested for congruence with the observed action. So actions are still not just in terms of the outcomes, but also in terms of the mental state. Toward the end of the presentation, I believe that you all have benefited from the introduction. In recent years, technology has become increasingly prosperous, but there are still some diseases that are difficult to treat, like Alzheimer's. Autism, hyperactivity, addiction, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and even coronavirus are delicate opponents as before. Perhaps mirror neurons or the modern equipment, such as diffusion spectrum imaging, for a strong potential in the medical field. This is our reference. And thank you for your attention.